What's up, guys? We are here to talk about the different things that you need to do to get the motor to fit in the RX8. These are all the different platforms that you can pull one of these motors or buy a motor from that I can think of. So I organized them by belt offsets, so you have the lowest profile to the highest profile belt. So we're going to start with the lowest profile over here. So you have the 1998 to 2013 Corvettes that came with the LS1, LS2, and LS3. So right here, the LS3 has a low profile oil pan, but it still won't clear the rack and pinion on the RX8. So you'll still have to replace the oil pan. It has a high mount alternator bracket from the factory. So you will have to use an alternator bracket from one of these options in order to get that to mount up correctly. I'm sure you don't. There are ways of not having to do that, but I mean, I'm doing it based on what I would recommend being the easiest to do, rather than trying to fight everything to figure it out for yourself. So then you're going to need, obviously, a new belt because you're going to have a different alternator. Also, we're getting rid of the power steering pump. Then you'll need an idler pulley and an AC belt if you're going to be getting the AC bracket from me. And obviously, this would already come with the engine mounting bracket, so you would not have to get them, as my mounting kit uses the C5 or C6 engine mounts. So now we're going to go to the G8 GT. This one comes with 6.0, or also known as, it's a 6.0 liter. I guess they also had the 6.2 for the GXP. Let's see, GXP only. Let's go 6.2. Let's see. All right. So in this engine, this is also low profile belt offset. So, and this motor will need the C5 or the C6 engine mounting brackets, along with the oil pan from. I use the F-body oil pan, so that would be the option that you're going to use for all of these motors. And then again, you're going to be using the same idler pulley and belt as the Corvette. So in the end, all four of these options are going to be using the same belt and ideally the same alternator brackets. Again, this one's going to need the C5 or C6 engine mounting brackets, and then this one as well. So, but one thing that is different is all three of these have their own alternator bracket that is the low driver's side, is where it's mounted. So it's similar to the GTO and the Camaro, but it's for the low profile offset. So now we're gonna, I mean, this kind of is all gonna be the same. Because all three of these are practically the same motor. This is something also I need to put. This is the 6.0 liter. I don't think they call them the LS2 in these vehicles, because it's kind of, I mean, this is a 6.0 with LS3 heads, and the CTS-V, I think they had the 5.7. This motor had the 5.7 and the 6.0, just like the GTO did. So I think that kind of covers the low profile offset ones. So now we're going to go over to the Camaro offset right over here. So this is the middle offset. So this is the one that my balancer that comes in the kit. This is the natural one that's going to come with your swap kit, unless you specify to use another one. We have all three balancers that we can use. You'll just have to specify which one you're going to be using if you need a different one other than this. But like I said, this is the balancer set offset that comes that's the one assumed with the kit when you get it. So again, this is from a 98 to 2002 Camaro or a Trans Am, the Pontiac Trans Am. You'll need C6 engine mounts, and then you're just going to need the idler pulley and drive belt. These belts will be a different one from these vehicles. And then from when you, this is, by the way, let me go back to the Camaro. So this is the setup that I would recommend. This is the easiest one to get mounted into the car. It you don't really have to do any changes pretty much, other than, I mean, you got to get the engine mounting brackets, and then the idler pulling the belt. That's so that because we're deleting the power steering, because it's electronic power steering in the RX8, so you don't need that. So this is by far the easiest setup that you can put in the car. The automatic and the manual transmissions that came in here, you don't have to make any adjustments. The kit does come with a shifter adapter for the manual transmission, whereas the automatic, I don't have anything offered right now to be able to put the linkage for that transmission to the RX8 shifter, but it is, the RX8 shifter is only a 4-position, whereas this is, let's see, it's going to have park, reverse, neutral, drive, I think 3-2-1, or it's 2-1. But anyway, I mean, that's 5 or 6 versus the 4-position. And now we're going to go to the GTO. So when you get an LS1 or an LS2 from a GTO, you're going to still need the C5 or C6 engine mounting brackets. You will need to get an F-body oil pan, which this is what it comes from and what it comes with. And then again, you'll need the idler and the belt and the AC bracket. I mean the AC belt. So the only difference that you'll need between this is you're going to need the oil pan kit. So that, I believe, covers all that. And I think this is the only vehicles right here that came with this mid offset. I can't think of any others. Alright, so now we're going to go over to the 3-inch offset. So this is the largest offset that really can interfere with some with the radiator and the fan. So this is going to limit your options there. I do have the radiator fan setup that I am coming out with will still be able to accommodate using this, and my car actually right now does have the Camaro offset, which is the truck offset, and I'm using the Camaro alternator bracket, and then I have obviously my machine balancer for it. So when you're doing this swap, you will again need an oil pan, the engine mounting brackets, and then the idler pulley and the drive belt. And so if you do get a truck engine instead of a Camaro, you would end up using all these Camaro stuff on your truck if you were to choose to use the truck offset. So I would not recommend this at all if you to do this on a truck, because you're going to have to get a water pump and you're going to have to get all that stuff. So it would really, if you're going to be getting a truck, I would recommend just going to the Camaro. It would just make things simpler. It's really not going to be any cheaper unless you got a Camaro water pump laying around, which you probably don't. So let's go down to the truck. This is the biggest question that people have. So when you're using a truck, you're going to need the C5 and C6 engine mounting brackets, just like most, or really all of them other than the Corvette needs these engine mounting brackets. So unless you get one from a Corvette, you're going to have to get these C5 or C6 engine mounting brackets. And then also one of the downsides of getting a truck one is you will have to get the intake from a car. You can get the intake manifold from any of these engines, as long as obviously an LS3 intake won't fit on a cathedral port head. So you do have to make sure that if you're getting a 6, well, I don't even want to say that because some 6-liter motors had the cathedral port and some had square. So if you have, just make sure that the intake you get matches your heads. If you have a cathedral port, you can use either of these intake manifolds, And then if you have a cathedral port, again, you can use the LS2 or the LS1 Corvette intake. Whereas these two and this one, the Camaro, the Caprice, and the G8 all had square port heads. The CTSV, it had a cathedral port, low profile intake, and there are a lot of other intake options out there. I don't really want to go over all that right now. We're mostly just trying to talk about the necessary things for doing the swap. So again, you're going to have the intake, the fuel rail, the injectors, the throttle body, and then again you're going to need the F-body oil pan. And then one thing that you will have to do if you get any truck engine is you will have to drill and tap the hole for, it's already drilled and tapped on all these other motors because they're cars. There is one bolt that all of these other ones can use. It has a third bolt hole that isn't, the blocks are different in this particular area. It has, because it's like a triangle that it can hold. So these are the two holes that you'll be able to, you'll have to tap this upper one. The lower one will already be there, and then this other one is a flat that the truck does not have casted in it. I'm going to try to pull up a picture on the internet in just a minute to show you what that looks like. Then you're going to need an alternator bracket from whichever one you choose to use. Like I said, I would recommend just going to the Camaro one rather than trying to do this because, like I said, the water pump is the biggest cost. So you're going to need a water pump, tensioner, the idler pulley, the drive belt, and the AC belt. So those are the things that you're going to have to do on the truck engine. And let me see if I can go ahead and pull up what this is. Let's see. Might not be able to load too good. Let's see. Truck low mount alternator. Bracket. All right. Let's see. And I'm going to show you where this hole has to be drilled. So right here. This right here is where you're going to have to drill, is in the block right there. Let me see if I can get a picture of here. Here's a template that IC Billet actually did. So you can use a center punch and the mounting bracket to make the center punch hole to show where you need to start drilling and tapping your hole. And then on the other car LSs, they'll have a little flat spot right here, similar to down here, that you'll be able to get a third bolt hole. It is not necessary, and obviously because you can't do it right there, but that is the only difference. Let's see, but that's all you'll be able to do. So I think that's it for today. I just wanted to go over this, and then I will be writing down some transmission options to talk about those in another video later. So I hope this helps, and if you have any other questions, feel free to put it in the comments, and maybe I can help you in those other ones. So I'll see you all next time.